That's a lot of buttons. Oh, believe me, in a good way. This is the fifine ampligame SC3 gaming USB mixer. And I'm going to tell you why you need this as a podcaster, streamer, and a gamer. By the way, this audio interface is sent to me by fifine for this review. And in the box, we will find the SC3 user guide, the USB-C cable with a USB-C-A adapter, and a 3.5mm stereo cable. Now let's check out the connections of this mixer starting from this USB-C port. Using the provided USB-C cable with a USB-C-A adapter, I'll be connecting this USB-C cable to my USB hub. And this hub is connected to my computer. Now I'll be connecting the other end of this USB cable to the back of the mixer. And this will not only power off the mixer, but my computer will automatically recognize this as an audio device. There's no more need to install or download a separate driver or even bring an extra USB cable or a power adapter. Just a single USB port from your computer is enough for you to start using this audio interface. Next is the line-out port. Using the provided 3.5mm cable, I'll be connecting this line-out port to the back of my studio monitor. This line-out port will help you hear any sound coming from your computer or even hear the sound coming from your microphone. Next one is the headphone port. This is where you plug in a normal headphone without the function of a microphone. Next one is the line-in port that you can use if you want to introduce a sound through the mixer, like music coming from your iPad or from your cell phone. And now the headset port. So one thing to take note when you're using the headset port. When you're plugging in a headset, make sure that it has 3 lines like this. You can see that there are 3 lines because one of those lines right there is dedicated for the microphone. Now, if your headphone only has 2 lines like this, it is not going to work. Even if your headphone has a mic functionality like those Bluetooth headsets, they're not going to work if you only have 2 stripes. It needs to have 3 stripes like this. So the moment you plug in the headset on the headset port, you will be using the microphone on the headset. The microphone on this headset is now being used, not the microphone that is plugged into the XLR or the quarter jack. It will be using the microphone that is on the headset. Just take note of that. So if you want to use the microphone function on the XLR port, then move this headset to the headphone port. Your headset will still function like a headphone, but it's not going to use the microphone function. And by doing that, you will be using the microphone that is plugged into the XLR port. Speaking of XLR port, this port right here supports both the 3/4 jack cable and an XLR cable. There are microphones that have TRS or quarter jack connection, and most pro-grade microphones, they use XLR cables. But hold on, there is a flip switch at the back between dynamic and condenser. Dynamic and condenser are 2 types of microphone. Unfortunately, I only have a dynamic microphone, but we will test if there's any difference when we flip between condenser and dynamic. So guys, right now I'm going to be connecting the microphone using XLR jack. And right now we are on dynamic setting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that microphone up, and then, yes, you can hear it right now. Yep. So my voice is coming out on the speaker. You could probably hear the difference by now. And that's the dynamic. And I'm going to flip it to condenser and let's see if there's any difference. Hello, hello, hello. Actually, the volume got lower because most condenser mics, they require phantom power, which is right there. The phantom power is the 48 volts, and this mixer has it. So you can also use a condenser mic with this mixer. Now that we're done with all the ports and the demonstration of all the connections, I want to move on to one of my favorite features of the fifine ampligame SC3 gaming mixer, which is the RGB lights. And this will not be considered a gaming mixer without its RGB features. And there's quite a few modes that we are going to go through, and I'm going to show it to you right now. I turn off all my lighting and also close some blinds so that we will have a much darker settings so you can appreciate all the RGB lights. And the moment we plug it in, it will go through the whole buttons, including the meter lights right on the top. And now let's go through the LED lights. Now that the mixer is back on, you can see that the meter is moving because I'm using the microphone now that is connected to the mixer. And you can change the modes of this LED lights or this RGB lights by pressing this button right here. And if you don't want all the RGB lights, all you need to do is just press and hold this button, and that will turn off all the RGB lighting. But it will light up every button that you will turn on. For example, if you want to turn on the mic monitor, and even if the change voice, those kind of things, anything that you turn on, anything that you press will light up, although the RGB is off. Now let's turn it back on. Yeah, just a normal push will turn it back on. And let's go through the first one. So the first one is like it's going through the whole colors slowly. It's like fading in and out as it changes the colors, which is kind of cool. The next one, this is like the same as the previous one, but this one actually turns itself off. It's like it's breathing in and out, completely turning itself off, and then comes back in a different color. And for the next one, it like goes through each and every button as it changes color. I don't like this one very much. There's too much movements. But it's good to have options. Someone might like it. And the next one, it's just going through the whole colors. We got red, pink, I guess. This is purple and blue, cyan, green, and this one is yellow. And now we're back to RGB. There are total 12 modes of RGB that you can set. And of course, let's not forget that there's another RGB lighting at the bottom of this mixer. And I'm telling you, it looks really cool. And this RGB light goes along with the mode settings. And now that we're done with the RGB features, I want to go through the whole buttons in here and do a demonstration on how they work. So right on the first one right here, I already mentioned this. The 48 volts is the one that you need if you're going to use a condenser mic that requires 48 volts. Now, the next one is the lights right here. I already demonstrated this. This is the one that you can use to change the RGB modes that we have in here, which was the previous one that we were doing. Next one is the electric. Now, the electric is a very nice feature if you are doing karaoke, because there are keys right there. You see those letters right on the top and right at the bottom. Those are keys, chords, like A flat, B flat, G, B, G flat, and so on. Like if you're singing something that is on a key of A, it will help you stay in tune in the key of A. Like if I hum in the key of A, it will sound like this. As you can hear, there's not a lot of fluctuating or waving. But if I try to sing something on the key of A, but switch the electric button to key of B, it's like waving your voice and trying to stay on that key of B. If you know the karaoke key that you're going to sing on, then you could probably use this one. And to turn it off, all you need to do is just press and hold. And now I'm back to my normal voice. So going back to the next button, which is the change voice. Now, this is a lot of fun. Change voice, we're going to go through the whole thing right here. So the change voice allows you to change your voice when you're streaming, podcasting, whatever you're doing, or even recording like what I'm doing right now. So the first one is male.
Hello, hi. So it's kind of like a male voice, but a lower tone male voice. And now let's proceed with a female voice.
Hello. Female, maybe if I start trying to speak like a female, but I kind of sound like an elf, something like that. That's the female voice. And let's move on to the robot.
Hello. It's kind of like an electronic voice. Let's try some Darth Vader type of thing. Like, I am your father. Yeah, let's move on. Next one, this is the monster voice, which is kind of growling. So I'm trying to growl. That's the monster voice. And now let's move to the baby.
Yeah, this is the baby. Well, baby doesn't really talk. So this is kind of like a helium voice, like you inhale a helium. That's kind of sound like, but still, it's fun. And lastly, the elder voice.
Okay, if maybe I'll try to speak like an elder. Hello, how are you doing, youngsters? Maybe we can speak and I can impart some wisdom to you. And if I want to turn off all this change voice feature, all I need to do is press and hold.
And now I'm back to normal. This is now Sandy's voice. Now, going to the custom, this is kind of like a button that you can record something for 15 seconds. So let's say if I'm going to record one of my greetings and all I need to do is just press and hold it. Once it turns white, now I can start doing some recording. And this is Sandy demonstrating the custom A button doing a recording. And when I'm done, all I need to do is let go. Now, if I want to play it back, all I need to do is just press it. Now I can start doing some recording. And this is Sandy demonstrating the custom A button doing a recording. And when I'm done, all I need to do is let go. And doing the same thing, you can also do a recording from the sound that is coming from your computer. So we're going to play like a drum beat in here, and we're going to do a recording on the custom B. So we're going to play it now. And I'm holding custom B. There it is. And if you want to play it back, just press the custom B button. And that's how easy it is to record something from your computer. And lastly, I want to show you the sliders and also the buttons below the sliders. Those mute buttons, they are used to mute those sliders. So if you press it, when you see white, that means it's muted. And you press it again, and it turns unmute. But this one right here is different. The mic monitor. The moment I turn that on, even without turning the slider up, I will be able to hear myself from my studio monitor or studio speaker. And right now I turn it on and you can hear me right now. My voice is going through my studio speaker. And that's what the mic monitor is. Now the slider right here is different. When you turn up the slider, that means that's for the headphone. You will be able to hear your voice or the microphone channel through the headphones. And that's how it functions. So what do I think about this mixer? Well, with its price point, features, and functionality, this mixer has a lot to offer. So whether you need a device for a music recording, a voiceover recording, for streaming, podcasting, and for content creation, this device will do a good job and even offer some other features. You can hear me right now, and I'm using this to record the voiceover for this review. And you can agree with me. It sounds amazing. And with its compact and plug and play design, an easy process to configure things, this is great for beginners. So guys, this is the fifine ampligame SC3 gaming USB mixer. Get yours today. And thanks for watching.